Students, today we are going to study in Science-1, Chapter 3, Chemical Reactions and Equations, Part 1. Before we understand what is chemical reaction, let's understand what is a physical change. You must have observed ice transformed into water, on heating water changing into water vapor, and water transformed into ice on cooling. Such changes are called as physical change. So, a physical change takes place due to change in the parameters such as temperature, pressure. Often a physical change is reversible. That's the composition of matter remains the same in a physical change. Then, what's chemical change? Now you must have seen ripening of a fruit or milk turn into curd. So on the contrary, if the composition of matter changes during a process, then it is called a chemical change. When we call a particular process or phenomenon as a chemical change, some chemical reactions are taking place in the concerned matter. Now we can define a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is a process in which some substances undergo bond breaking and are transformed into new substances by forming a new bond or by formation of new bonds. The substances taking part in chemical reaction are called reactants, whereas the substances formed as a result of a chemical reaction by formation of new bonds are called products. Now let's see an example. Combustion of coal or burning of coal. Formation of carbon dioxide gas by combustion of coal in air is a chemical reaction. In this reaction, carbon reacts with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide gas. So, a chemical reaction is represented by writing a chemical equation. Chemical reactions are classified into the following 4 types in accordance with the nature and the number of the reactants and the products. The first one is called combination reaction. As you can see, carbon reacts with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide. In another activity, you can see hold a magnesium strip in a pair of tongs and ignite. On burning in air, a white powder of magnesium oxide is formed. The reaction can be written in the form of equation as 2Mg plus O2 giving 2MgO. In this reaction, magnesium oxide is formed as the single product by combination of magnesium and oxygen. Such type of reaction is called combination reaction. The second type of reaction is called decomposition reaction. A reaction where a more complex molecule breaks down to form 2 or more simpler products. Now let's understand this by a simple activity. Take some calcium carbonate in a test tube, fit a bent tube to this test tube with the help of a rubber cork. Insert the other end of the bent tube in the freshly prepared lime water taken in the other test tube. Heat the powdered calcium carbonate in the first test tube strongly. The lime water will turn milky. So in the above activity, we saw that calcium carbonate undergoes decomposition reaction and the carbon dioxide gas formed turns the lime water milky. The second product of the reaction, the calcium oxide powder, remains behind in the first test tube. That means calcium carbonate on heating gives calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. So the reaction in which two or more products are formed from a single reactant is called decomposition reaction. Now we shall see the third type of reaction. On adding zinc dust to blue colored copper sulfate solution, a colorless solution of zinc sulfate is formed and heat is generated. From this we can learn we learn that zinc ions formed from zinc atom take the place of copper ions in copper sulfate and copper atoms formed from copper ion come up. It means that zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. So the reaction in which the reaction in which the place of the ion of a less reactive element in a compound is taken by another more reactive element by formation of its own ions is called displacement reaction. So, zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate, hence zinc sulfate is formed. Now we shall see the fourth type of reaction called double displacement reaction. The reaction in which the ions in the reactants are exchanged to form a precipitate are called double displacement reaction. As you can see, silver nitrate on reacting with potassium chloride gives or forms silver chloride and potassium nitrate. In the second activity, you can see when yellow aqueous potassium chromate is added to a colorless barium nitrate solution, yellow barium chromate precipitate is formed. So, the ions in the reactants are exchanged to form the precipitate. Such type of reactions are called double displacement reaction.